Ready to make a real impact every day? Join the Active Day Home Care team and help clients maintain their independence in the comfort of their own homes. Make a difference in someone's life as you provide essential daily assistance and protect their health and happiness. Earn up to $20 an hour and enjoy additional perks like optional daily pay, 401k, paid time off, ongoing educational training, and more. Join a team that values care, compassion, and your professional growth. Visit activeday.com to apply.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Creators to Creators today. Today we have a special guest,
Kathleen Garrett.
Welcome to the show. I'm so glad you can do this.
I'm very happy to have been invited. Thank you.
Oh my God, of course. You're so talented and amazing, and I just love what you're doing. It's awesome. So tell me about your childhood. Talk about
My
that.
childhood. Oh, Maron. Actually, I finished I finished the second draft of a book that is very, very, very loosely based on my childhood.
Nice.
And it's basically The Wonder Years meets The Sopranos through the eyes of a 13-year-old girl.
Wow.
So what was that? That kind of sums it up. So ask me something else.
I can't wait to read it. What is it? When do you think it's coming out? Like next year?
Well, I just finished my second draft. I'm very excited about it. I have an editor that I will be giving it to, and then from there, I mean, these things unfortunately take forever.
Yeah.
But it's a YA novel. It's a young adult novel, and it's really about this young girl who idolizes her father and is unaware that he's in the mob. And my father, well, I don't know if he was in the mob or not, but fiction. It's also fiction. This is fiction. And so he changes, and she sees that he's changing in front of her, and he's not the man because he gets deeper and deeper into the mob, even reluctantly. He doesn't want to, but they keep, he can't get out. And that changes him, and it changes their relationship. And in the process, because she's 13, she's also coming of age. So she's mature, and then she falls in love too. There's this boy, and he's a bad boy.
Oh.
And so she's dealing with so many issues, and
Wow.
and you have to find out, and you have to wait and see what happens. You have to get the book. So
Well,
yes.
I'm hooked. I'm ready. I can't wait to read this. This is going to be a very interesting read.
Kill.
Yeah. So I guess that's. I mean, I would think growing up, there was some, like, for me, in my case, I always kind of, like, in the back of my head, I always, like, knew I wanted to be doing, like, film. Like, I want to do that. Like, how did you discover acting? Like, where did that come from? Did you always know, or just kind of discover it later?
It was something I always knew, even at the age of 5, I would
Wow.
say.
Wow.
I mean, I even tried in high school to do other things. I thought I would be a journalist, actually.
Oh, wow.
And actually, in my family, the men, many of the men are engineers, or were
Nice.
engineers, are engineers. But because of growing up in a very conservative Italian-American family back then, girls, especially my family, girls weren't engineers. Girls, that's not something girls did. That was what
Right.
men did. Girls
Mm.
did not do that. And it's unfortunate because I do have an engineer mind, and I didn't realize it until, much later in life when I started building things.
Right.
And just looking at something, like I bought this small apartment here in Manhattan, and I renovated it myself the first time. I just kind of
Wow.
looked at it and said, well, if I did this, and if I did that, and if I raised the ceiling, and if I pulled this apart, and
That's amazing.
and so it would have been interesting what would have happened to me if I was aware and encouraged. It's amazing what encouragement does to a child,
Yeah.
and the opportunities that it opens up for a child. We can get into, socioeconomic discussion in that, people who are even not brought up in a more of a privileged society, but if they are encouraged, if they, if the money is more into the public schools, if the focus is more into programs, into schools where they encourage kids to expand beyond their own little world, it's amazing what can be accomplished,
Absolutely.
And the good that can be accomplished.
Absolutely. That's so true. Like if a kid has that that parent that's supportive, that encouragement that says you can do it, you can do this, oh my God, the world would be such a different place.
And even in the public schools, I mean, even if in so many of the, especially the urban public schools, the equipment is lacking.
Right.
The textbooks in especially some of the inner cities, the textbooks are behind.
Yeah.
The technology is behind. The computer access is behind.
Mm-hmm.
If give kids a chance in the beginning.
Right.
Give them a chance to see what their potential is. Give them a chance to say, well, why not?
Absolutely.
As opposed to I can't.
Right.
It's really a shame what has happened in our country, in allowing the dumbing down of our country, and in doing so, you start with cutting education. I mean, teachers should really be one of the top paying jobs in the country. They should be. And so then you really get highly qualified people. You get really smart people who want to go and do that because they can make a really good living, as opposed to saying, oh, I'm starting out at, $30,000
exactly
after my, MA.
Yeah, it's crazy. My friend, she's a teacher, and even right now during this COVID situation, it's rough. She's like, she's like doing different subjects at the same time, so it's pretty intense right now. She's like, I'm not even equipped to do this subject, but I have to do it because there's a lack of, and then pay, and it's I commend them for what they're doing. It's a lot of hard work for sure. It's interesting you said you always knew that you want to be an actress. That's amazing. Were you like that kid that's like very animated? You're just like, did you find yourself doing that, like voice acting as well? Like, because you do voice acting. I mean, it's just like, how did you develop this amazing gift?
Yeah, I was one of those obnoxious little kids that was very animated and very annoying and always doing different accents, and
I love it.
Always, the rebel. Also, there was a big rebellious streak inside of me. Always the tomboy, always the against the norm. I just wasn't the normal girl.
I wasn't
typical.
I
was called my mother even said, oh no, you were the black sheep. I'm like, thanks, Mom.
I love it. I think you kind of have to be one, right? In order to know, like, because it takes a special kind of someone to do what you're doing.
Well, especially in the era that I grew up in. I mean, I grew up in an era where, so many things today are taken for granted.
Right.
I mean, even, when I grew up, the women's movement, women were fighting for equal rights. They were fighting for the right to have an abortion.
Right.
And now it's so politicized and so, it's just so politicized both in religion and politics. But back then, I mean, girls were getting abortions. The rich girls could always get abortions because daddy could pay for it and they could find the doctor to do it and be safe. Mm-hmm. Those who didn't have that kind of access, were shamed, had to be in absolute shame, because it was back then too, it was God forbid you lived in sin or you did, you had sex. And then, girls were really hurting their bodies by having these illegal abortions.
Yeah.
And that's why Gloria Steinem really fought for that, because she had to go through that. Mm-hmm. And now it's being taken away, more and more. It's just being cut away. And it's about a woman's choice. Can can this 13-year-old, can this, God forbid 13,
Yeah.
but can this teenager, raise a child
Hmm.
and have the life that can actually be fulfilling for her,
Right.
Can even, a 20-year-old or a 30-year-old who doesn't have the economic situation where they can actually bring up a child properly. It's one thing to bring up, to have a baby,
Yeah.
but then you can't give it back when you no longer want to play with it.
Right.
You know what I mean? I
Right.
mean, you are a mother for the rest of your life. And the choices change. And can you afford this child? I mean, but they're not dealing with, you want to take abortion away, but they're not dealing with the fundamentals of, therefore, childcare
Hmm.
and providing
Hmm.
and education. So I know this is kind of off the track of talking about acting, but it's all a part of it, and I
It
think it's
is.
all a part of I guess who I am, and who I am as an actor and an artist.
Absolutely. I know. I think that you're right. It's all of it. It ties into everything because even in the industry, right? Women were still trying to be heard, and with the pay, and I mean, there's
We're
so
still
many
trying to be
things.
heard.
It's
We're
crazy,
still trying to be heard.
and it's
It's crazy.
2020. It's like,
It's 2021. You get the top female star and you get the top male star, and the salaries are not the same.
not at all.
Salaries are not the same. And still, if you look at motion pictures, okay, you'll see 7 men in the title role
Hmm.
and maybe 1 woman, and that woman is usually under, and the guys can range from 20 to 70,
Yeah.
and the 1 female will be most likely under the age of 34
Isn't that
and
crazy?
be the love interest to any one of them.
Yeah. It blows
It's
my
like
mind.
Sean Connery, who, God bless him,
Yeah.
rest his soul.
Yeah.
I loved him. I mean, and especially as 007. But
Yeah.
he did, one of his films he did was with Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Yeah.
Catherine Zeta-Jones was 25, played his love interest at the age of 71.
Wow. Wow.
Now,
Wow.
I don't have a thing about, I mean, why don't we get somebody like Jane Fonda dating
Yeah.
somebody like, I don't know, Brad Pitt would be too old.
Right. Someone in
Why
the
do,
30s. Why not?
or even Brad Pitt? What if there was a film where Brad Pitt and Jane Fonda were dating, and
Hmm.
it wasn't even about age? It was the fact that whatever the premise was,
Right.
people would be like outraged and quote unquote disgusted.
Right. Oh, that's not right. That's not, that's not realistic. That's not life. But I'm like, it happens all the time with men. I see it all the time.
People don't think twice about it.
No. No, not at all. It blows my mind. It really does. And I mean, okay, how do you think that's going to change? Do you think it's up to the women who are like writers, the women in the writers' room to change that, like the ones that have the power to change the narrative? If that, is
Well,
that the only way?
okay. Well, wait a minute. The ones who have the power. Who has the power?
True.
It is changing. You do get people like Courtney Kemp, who is my executive producer on Ghost, on Power
Yes,
Book 2 Ghost on Starz. Like that little plug-in.
I love it.
And she's fabulous,
Yeah.
and she's a powerhouse. She's got, she came off of 6 years of Power that she wrote and creative directed, and now she's show running Ghost.
Hmm.
But she also has 2 other spin-offs coming off of
Nice.
that,
Nice.
and she's doing something for HBO right now, so she's a powerhouse. And then you also have Shonda Rhimes, who I'm also extremely fortunate to
Yeah,
be a part of her new series, Inventing Anna, which is coming out on Netflix, starring Julia Garner,
nice.
2-time Emmy winner. She's fabulous.
I love it. It's powerhouse women. I love this. This is great.
And you know what? It's women of color.
I love
And
that.
and when I looked at those 2 things, I said,
Wow.
if Shonda Rhimes and Courtney Kemp can be powerhouses in this industry, then I can, then there's no excuse for me.
Right.
Then if whatever I want to accomplish, I just have to go and do the work.
That's it. That's
Courtney, Britney Spears, who I love, and don't say anything negative to me about Britney Spears.
No, she's great.
She's great. And you know what, it really broke my heart when people were like, really disparaging her because of whatever mental health issues she was dealing with. It's like, my God, if anything, have compassion for this person.
Yeah, I do.
And she was a child when she exploded onto the music industry.
Yeah.
I mean, how does that mess up your head?
It does. It can.
But her song is my theme song. It's, get to work, bitch. It's like better work, bitch.
Yeah, that's it. I love it.
And when I need motivation, I just plug that into my little, AirPods, and I just pump that thing, and I play it over and over again, because it's like, you better work, bitch.
That's it.
No, that's the title. Better work, bitch. Here I'm talking about my idol song, and it's like, I don't even know the name of it. But I don't know the name of anything, so there you go.
No, but I know the song. It's an interesting song. It definitely want to make you get off your butt and like just do the work. Yeah.
Yeah. You want a Maserati? You want a Bugatti? You better work, bitch. Oh yeah. I'm like, yeah, baby. You want to look hot in a bikini? Well, I don't know about that, but you better work.
I love that. I love it. To bring it back to Shonda Rhimes, I mean, that's amazing that, when you think about women and, like I said, it is changing, that we see women doing powerful, like in powerful positions. She's like the god of writing, like television, right? Like television.
She is considered the most powerful producer in television.
That's amazing.
And she just signed this huge Netflix deal, which is why now she's working in New York.
Nice. How is it working with her?
Well, I didn't work with her directly.
Mm-hmm.
But just to be in a Shonda Rhimes show is a thrill. Yeah. I am not worthy. Well, maybe I am. But
I love it. Yes.
But it's a gift.
Yeah.
It's a gift to be a part of a show like that. It's a gift to be working with powerhouses like, I got to tell you a story with 50 Cent. 50 Cent is one of the executive producers with Courtney Kemp. Courtney Kemp is the showrunner. 50 Cent is one of the producers. He also does For Life. And so I never met him personally, because a lot of times, when I was working, he wasn't around, etc. And so it was my last day of shoot. It was episode 10 of season 1, the last episode of season 1. And we were finishing up my scenes. I played the judge on that, Judge Nina Larkin.
Yes. Great job, by the way.
Thank you, darling.
I got to check it out.
Oh yes, this Sunday, December 6th, is the premiere, the mid-season premiere. And so anyway, so we're moving. All my scenes were shot, and so I wanted a picture of the whole cast, that we were together. And so we were in the judges chambers, and they were breaking down the set because we just finished there. And so they said, well, why don't you shoot it in the courthouse, which it was literally around the wall, because it's Hollywood. And so, we just go into the next set.
Right. And
in the courtroom, and I think it was Method Man who said, 50 Cent is here. And I went, oh my gosh, 50 Cent is here? And he said, where? And we all have our masks on, right? And so I'm like, where? And he's over there, and he's sitting there in this lime green, sweatsuit.
I love
and
it.
He's sitting there with his mask on, and I run over to him and I grab him and I said, 50 Cent, 50 Cent. I said, oh my God. I said, I'm Kathleen Garrett. I played the judge. I've got my fucking mask on, right? And he goes, I know who you are. And I'd be like, oh, good. And I rip off my mask. I said, we're going to take a picture and you're going to be in it. And I grab him and I said, and you're going to stand next to me. And I call him. So I grabbed the picture. Okay. And then Naturi Naughton and Michael Rainey, they were just about to shoot. Oh no, they were getting in makeup. So they were still in their street clothes. And so they had come onto the set, and so they had walked into the courtroom, and it was like great. And so I grabbed them, and so we all got together and we shot this, and it shows the joy that we had in shooting this show, because
I love it.
it's wonderful. And I don't know. Oh wait, like
I see 50. I see you at 50. He definitely stands out. I see it. Yep. I love it. Oh, I love it. You guys had such a good time. Oh, that's great. Great.
I hope that can read. It was just so much fun. You got, it was just a real gift, gift to shoot with, such pros and just have fun.
Yeah.
I mean, you get on sets. I've been very fortunate. One of the great sets that I worked on, again, as a judge on Law and Order. I recurred for a couple seasons on Law and Order, the last 2 seasons, and that set was fabulous.
Yeah.
That set was, again, no ego. It was all about the work, and even on SVU, it was all about the work and about just doing the best you can, and that's what this was about.
I love that.
And in the process, we had so much fun. It was just I don't know, for me, I always feel so fortunate to work.
Yeah.
If I've got a voiceover job, if I'm doing a game, I would love to tell you what this game is. It's going to be so hot, and I can't. I gotta wait.
I can't wait.
Game. Yeah, that's all I can say.
Okay. But I loved it. A little teasers. Okay.
But COVID just put a halt to everything.
About COVID, how did you, like, during COVID, because I know when it first came, like, hit, everyone, I know I joked about it. I was like, we're probably going to be like, it's going to be martial law, blah, 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 jokingly, just kidding. And it just, everything stopped. It was so bad.
The world stopped.
Yeah. Yeah, it did. It really did. And for me, that's why I started this podcast. I was like, I have to figure out how to stay creative. Like, how did you stay balanced? How did you figure out, like, okay, when am I, like, during this, how do you stay balanced?
Well, I live here in New York, and I live in Santa Monica. And I had flown in from Santa Monica to do a play at La Mama and to shoot Ghost. And so I'll never forget this. It was March 12th. I was rehearsing for La Mama in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And then that afternoon was the table read for Ghost. And when I got to the table read in Brooklyn, they shoot at Steiner Studios. When I got to the table read, I got a text saying that the play at La Mama was completely shut down. All production was shut down. It was gone, dead.
Oh no.
And I was like, and then Courtney was at the table read, and she made an announcement saying, we don't know what's going on. Everybody's fine now, so we're going to continue going. Within 48 hours, they shut down.
Oh, wow.
And so what I did was I went up, I saw my folks, came back down, I jumped on a plane, I went to Santa Monica, and I stayed there for 6 months, thank God. And several things kept me going in a really constructive and productive and restorative way. And one was my daily spiritual practice, daily. Secondly was my community of friends there. And I guess 4 things. I would walk daily. I would sneak on, the beaches were closed, but I would sneak on. Oh God, I'm going to get myself in trouble. I would sneak on and walk for miles. I would average, with my little miles thing, on my iPhone, between 4 and 6 miles an evening. And I would go at sunset.
Wow.
And I would sneak onto the beach and just walk up from Santa Monica, walk up to, like, I don't know if you know it, Temescal Canyon and back. And
wow.
And watch the sunset and watch the birds come out and it was to be with nature during that time was the most restorative. It was a blessing.
Mhm.
And then I was writing, I had my writing and I wrote every day, and so I was still able to create and be productive. And I felt extremely fortunate and blessed to be there and have what I have there.
That's beautiful. I love that. Yeah, no, that's yeah, that was I think the main thing for me was like how do you stay, you know, sane because there were a lot there's a lot and it still is a lot going on, So that's
We might
great.
shut down again. We might shut down again.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I also have a question of because you've done a lot. You've done voiceover and you've voiced over video games and all types of really cool things. Is there something that like a character or some things that you haven't done yet that you would like to do as far as like in acting or voiceover?
I want to play the best villainess.
Okay, I could see
Just
that.
I want to play. There's two things I want to play. I want to play the best villainess in the world. I want to play a Joan Collins
Oh,
character.
wow. I love that.
She to me was the best villainess to ever work in television, period, bar none. Well, actually, Glenn Close was
Glenn
really
Close
good in
was good.
Damages.
Yeah,
In
she was great.
Damages, wow.
Yeah, I
I
love that one.
mean, to me, that was her best work. That was one of her best works. Because you understood her.
Hmm.
I mean, it's like, and sometimes you found yourself rooting for her. But what I loved about Joan Collins is I felt that she always borderlined like comedy and absurdity. She played that
Hmm.
very, that very like, oh darling, that kind of thing. And I think she was always aware of like the comedic aspect of this incredible, diabolical person. And she walked that fine line so well.
Yeah.
I love what she did. I mean, I would love to play a character like, in Glenn Close's Damages or Joan Collins's Dallas, and then I would love to play a very comedic slapstick, because I used to be a mime. I used to be a
Holy
professional
crap.
mime.
Oh my God, I had no idea.
Yes, I
Wow.
used to be a street mime, and I was a mime at Macy's one year when I was like 20 years old.
Wow.
And oh yeah, I was in a mime troupe, and that what was so wonderful about that and what that taught me was a lot of physical comedy,
Mm,
because you can't speak unless uh, uh, and yet you have to articulate everything by your body
right.
and your face.
Yeah.
And that helped me tremendously in my acting,
Oh, I bet.
tremendously in my work. So I like, when I trained in London, and my favorite period was Restoration. And the Restoration plays, which Americans aren't very familiar with, but they're very stylized.
Hmm.
And in being stylized, you still have to be realistic.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes the stylization look natural.
Right.
And that is all body movement. It's and they do asides to the audience. You'd say, oh my heart, and with the fan, oh my heart, my countenance gives me away. And then they go back,
I love
and it's,
that.
oh my God, I thrived on that. I think maybe I was an English actress back in the day,
I feel like
in
I
another
was
life.
from there too, from my other life. I really love, I don't know, something about Europe just, I don't know, fascinates me. I definitely want to make something over there and be like BBC or I don't know, I don't know, the town I visited and I was like, I don't want to leave. This place is amazing.
Yeah, yeah. I was very fortunate to spend a year to study there for a year at
Ah,
at
so
a drama
nice.
school to train there. But darling, if you work for the BBC, you won't make much money. Just an
Yeah, that's what
FYI.
I hear, unfortunately. I think the only,
But then
yeah,
again, if you work in Netflix, you won't be making much money either. So what's the difference?
that's so true. That's true. So, you know, okay, I had this really funny question I love to ask every guest. If there was a biopic based on your life, who would play you?
I have no idea. I
Come
probably
on.
would. I'd be like, what the fuck? I'm playing me. Are you kidding? I'm going to give the job to somebody else? God, what are you thinking?
I would love to. I just so curious who would play you.
So you tell me who would play me.
Let's
I have
see.
no idea. Joan Collins.
Hmm.
I don't know.
There we go. That's it. That's it. Period on it. That's it. Thank you so much for coming on. But I love to ask every person who's, because first of all, your career is extraordinary. You're doing amazing things. And there's so many people out there that, they want to know how do to get in this. How do you do this? What advice would you give to aspiring actors and young people out there that want to give it a try, acting world?
It's not an easy life. It's, you really are, going against the wind. And it is, people think it's all glamour and it's all this and it's all that. It's, that's an aspect of it at times, but not really. You have to need it. And you have to work incredibly hard at it. And now it's COVID is a good example. The creative people during COVID, like you and me, and many others, continued to create. It's like, wow, this was taken from me. So what do I do now? And you created these podcasts, and other people are creating other things, and I continue to write. And the reason why I started writing was because I was not getting jobs as an actress, and I was like, you're not going to tell me I can't. And so I'm going to find something that says I can. And in writing, it started out to write for my own, for my own work. And I just think you need to, and you have to do it every day. You have to, it's a full-time job, and you've got to find a way to keep moving forward when everyone else says no. You've got to find a way to keep moving your feet. And I went through a period not long ago at all where my agents of 13 years almost dropped me, and I was devastated. And I thought, my career's over. Who's going to want to hire me now, And I didn't give up. And when everybody else didn't believe in me, I still kept moving forward. And then all of a sudden, it's really miraculous. I did get agents that said to me, well, we have nobody like you. You encompass, I mean, what he was saying to me was extraordinary. He goes, you have the sophistication of New York. You are New York. And I'm like going, I'm from Schenectady. Yeah. It's like, but it, and then since then, within a period of 18 months, I booked a guest star on The Deuce. I'm in Trial of Chicago 7. I have a recurring role in Ghost. I have a recurring role in Shonda Rhimes's Inventing Anna. I'm in one of the hottest video games about to be released. And then I started booking voiceover, and it was like, it just showed me that in not giving up, in believing in yourself when everybody else was doubting you.
Mm-hmm.
And even when I was doubting myself, because even during that time I went through self-doubt. Mm-hmm. And even in the self-doubt, you have to keep moving forward, because if you stop, you are guaranteed failure. Mm-hmm. We're never guaranteed success, but we are guaranteed failure.
Wow. Yeah.
And you have to believe in yourself. I mean, I can't deny if I can't create, then a part of me will die, and that part of me will be a huge part of me will die. And you have to ask yourself that question. You don't go into it for the money. That's a joke. And you don't go into it for the fame, because that's a joke too.
Absolutely.
And if those are your motivations, good luck. That's all I can say.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you. Thank you so much. That was great advice. I love that. That was so good. Where can people find you on social media?
My darling, do look me up. On Instagram, I am this is Kathleen Garrett. I'm on Facebook, but I keep it private. That's where I
The real
spout
friends are on, it's like, sorry
Well,
guys. I'm just kidding.
no, that's where I do my political diatribe, and I don't want that public. So, but yeah, Instagram, and then my website, KathleenGarrett.com.
Yes.
Check me out. Say hi.
Check her out, guys. She's amazing.
Oh,
Amazing.
thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on. It was a pleasure.
It was a pleasure. It was my pleasure. Thank you so much. And I just want to say that I really respect, the reason why you and I connected was because for some reason, I started finding you on Instagram, and I was like, who is this? Who is this mover and shaker? I want to find out who this person is. So, I give you accolades for all that you are creating and doing and moving forward. You will be you are a success. I see you as a success. I see anybody who continues to create above anything else as a success.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, thank you guys again for watching, and always remember to live, love, laugh. Bye, everybody.
Ciao, ciao.